Ooh, it's a bit nasty. Yeah, I figured after the bloody hell, this machine's nuts. Let me catch my breath. I figured after the other videos that were all a bit I don't know, meandering and kind of delicate, I just wanted to just pump the shit out of this thing and just see. Seen a lot of comments actually, people saying, "Oh, it really crunches up in the distortion." I was thinking, yeah, I found that, but I thought, do you know what? Maybe I haven't. Maybe I haven't hammered this quite nearly enough. And yeah, I think they were right. Just like Jesus, it just really breaks. It reminds me of like Mackie mixers and any kind of old kind of hardware kind of mixers that just you can, or even just some equipment actually, when you can kind of when you drive it or like run it out the headphones out or something, and you just kind of get all the kind of all the circuitry and everything just, and the sounds just crunching up, and this has kind of got that. It is running through like a bit of a compression and a bit of EQ on the Motu. So you know, if you download the project and everything, it might sound a bit different, but you know, just whatever you're using, just EQ it how you like it, and then distort it a bit more maybe. Who knows, like bit of compression kind of adds that bit of movement. It doesn't have a compressor built in, so you know, kind of figured I'd add that on there. Yeah, those kind of things of like, oh, it doesn't, you know, it's just that box. You've added stuff to it, like whatever, man. It just, if it sounds good, like it sounds good. There's abundance of like free plugins and shit out there for compressors and EQs and stuff, so you can kind of tweak it to your heart's content. But just kind of getting at the essence of what this box sounds like, and using some extra tricks to get there, then you know, it's all good. But yeah, there's nothing particularly complicated about this. It's just I had in my mind, I always forget to get the track, but it's on the early Waveforms album by Jeff Mills, the very Waveforms something. I want to say it's something else, Waveforms Volume 1, but that's probably what I was thinking. Waveforms Volume 1 is the extra bit. There's a track on there, and maybe it's called Punisher, but it's that start, like just kind of had that, and he just kind of hammers all these drum sounds through the mixer. It's just this raw block of sound, which is kind of often how I think about stuff. Just this kind of energy of sound that you can kind of find, and then it just kind of repeats. And kind of had that in mind, I think, as I was playing around. Well, I mean, I didn't have that in my mind going in, but as soon as I started distorting it, it just, that become apparent. And I wonder, because maybe partly Jeff uses FM stuff as well, but the 909 obviously, and when you distort the hell out of that, you've got that kind of kick drum, snare drum kind of combination, when really hammered, does give you that kind of quality quite well, especially when you sample. I've sampled the 909 before, and just like a group of drum sounds, and then just had that sort of what is analog and has its really nice qualities. When you sample that and you play it over and over again, and it's just the same sound, and then you kind of add the movement underneath from analog stuff, you get that the distortion and crunch is what gives it its movement, but the key sound is kind of on point. It's like the same thing. Underground Resistance use that a lot in their old stuff, like the kind of old hardcore rave kind of sort of patterns that they would sort of use, but it's very kind of more industrial, distorted, kind of like a detuned, or what's the word? Like it has no pitch, like a cymbal necessarily has no pitch. Loads of drummers are going to be like, nah. If you're a drummer, then whatever, but you probably know better than I do. But you know what I mean? It's like, as opposed to a key like on a piano or whatever, you've got these kind of clusters of frequencies, and then when that's pitched around, those frequencies come out more prominent on lower pitches and higher pitches than the original pitch, because you're kind of giving preference to them, your ear picks up on them. So that quality can be amazing, and this is kind of coming through on this. Not that this is the sampler, but I guess just maybe a bit of the precision of this modern machine. Maybe don't know. Maybe it's just the sound of it, but pretty cool. Yeah, just I think it's just like the kick drums on everything with like the cymbals. hats or the percussion or whatever it's called. I forget what that one. I always feel hesitant to touch the buttons. I don't know why. Yeah, what we got? Kicks on that one. I think it's this one. Yeah, the metal. That's what I was on about. Yeah, kicks on the second one, and kicks on yes, and kicks and perks. Yeah, because originally I was going to do like a really kind of chilled, like the kind of more beepy, bleepy, you know, clean pitched, you know, like a high resonance thing that just pitches around, just moving the frequency around, but kind of using the tones. But yeah, just kind of got into that like detailed thing, and I just thought, fuck this, I'm just going to start distorting it, and then within probably 10 minutes we had this, which is, yeah, it's a quick box. The reverb sounding pretty cool as well, just kind of up and when it's crunching. There's some, just to kind of bring out stuff. I did start kind of playing around with the panning, because it doesn't seem like you can pan independent tracks, independent steps, because it seems to be on the main. I mean, you could do it with the LFO and setting up all that kind of gubbins, but I figured like it's quite nice just to sort of have what is essentially really kind of like one sound, or could be considered as one sound, or layers of, like, you know, layers of sounds that kind of go towards like the idea of one sound, as opposed to, you know, individual frequencies all in their little boxes, which I'm not a massive fan of. So kind of building that block up across the track, so like having, you know, more bassy, more kind of hitting ones, and then using the reverb and stuff to kind of wash out certain sounds. And you can, and it's easy to kind of do, because you can just turn a reverb up on one track and think, does that bring it up more, or turn it up on the other one, does it bring it up on track 3, or does it bring it up on track 2? And the hat was there just to kind of, just as a lazy kind of high end, kind of techno nod. And to that Jeff Mills track, he's kind of got the hats crunching around, so I thought, you know, why not swack it in there. Not sure, the metal kind of machine's pretty cool. It's got that, it's kind of more like sort of 808 kind of sound territory. So it's interesting when you've got like a lot of the Elektron boxes sort of span across like a lot of the legacy kind of old school machines, but, you know, borrowing kind of the essence of all of them, but just sort of putting them in one. At least for the cycles, you know, the machines they picked, like Perk and Metal, and they're all kind of nods to these certain machines, I feel. And obviously they have different frequency content that sort of makes sense. Probably as well, actually, like certain algorithms on the DX and everything would give you more, you know, the feedbacks on the operators. So you'd have like a basically a sine tone fed back into a sine tone, and it just you have a feedback setting that gives you the white noise. So this is kind of what that sort of I think it's the shape dial, I think. Yeah, that's the other thing. I'm kind of like I understand FM reasonably well, and yeah, I kind of don't really know what it is that this is doing. Sometimes I'm kind of having to like reverse engineer, like what does this actually change, because it's just the shape dial or just the color dial. So but you know, kind of makes you use it differently. And it's just like I turn it in, generally if you turn it up, like this sort of feels like the top right hand side of the machine. If you turn it up, it gets into white noise stuff. This kind of middle left section, sweep contour, is the kind of whippy, you know, sort of stabby, sort of like kick drum modeling, sort of stab, sort of kind of, you know, hard attack stuff. And then this one up here is like pitch and decay, is a bit more like sort of your general functions. And then you've got like sequencer and effects and LFO. So it kind of feels relatively intuitive that if I turn these ones up, I'm going to get some white noise stuff. Like I'm going to get some high frequency content. If I turn these ones up, I need to be really careful. I'm going to get like sudden thips, and it can get fucking loud. Like especially that the bass on this is so heavy that it can, in the lower registers, you're not hearing it because it's such a sub bass. It's like really, really low, and it takes up all the energy in the box, and it can crunch the machine more than you think it is because you can't hear it. And I'm finding like on some of those lower ones, well actually on all the sounds, I've been kind of like reducing the I've been reducing the kind of lengths to really short, which is something I do on the rhythm quite a lot. It just keeps it, I think it gets rid of the mud as well. Like it just keeps, like, anytime it's going to be like thumping, it just doesn't blow out so much. It's just a kind of sharp kind of bunk kind of sound. And you can kind of hear that in this a lot. It's like a real punchy sort of short stabby thing, and that can really influence like the tempo and stuff you use, or the BPM or whatever, because you've got that kind of extra air around steps. At least that's how I feel about it. But yeah, I don't know, pretty cool. I'm kind of again, like I've been enjoying it. I feel like I should give this box back to my partner at some point before it's all like all the dials are bent and there's just, like, you know, greasy fingerprints all over it or something. And you know, it's and I often wonder, right, when is it like I don't know if any of you have seen Back to the Future. I think it is the first one where Michael J. Fox's character Marty, which is a class name, he, after he's finished his crazy, like, you know, the scene where he's playing, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to spoil it, but it's you know, go and watch it. It's like I mean, like, it's a really old film. If you you know, it's like spoilers, like there must be like a threshold, right? Like it must be like a week, so I'm well way past that. But anyway, he's kind of playing a guitar, and he does I forget what it is, I forget what the song is, but he's wailing on a guitar all distorted, and he's like kicking over amps and stuff, and then he kind of hands it back to the kind of regular musicians that are there, and he's just kind of looking at the guitar like, oh my god, what have you done to this thing? Like you've somehow tainted this box with abusing it in some way. Like when I was a kid, your parents would say, don't touch the vinyl, you're not meant to touch it, only touch it from the edges, don't touch it while it's playing, you have to use this bloody arm to put the needle on, and you know, like just crazy learnt behaviors. So I'm probably Michael J. Fox. I'm probably Marty damaging this guitar for my partner. But anyway, he probably needs it. It's just getting warmed up. Right, I'm going to call it there. Pretty quick-ish video, I guess. Like, what have we gone? 15 minutes. Aggressive, short, snappy. Hope you liked it. I'll catch you next one. Cheers. If I can work out how to turn this thing up, like, fucking hell, it's just like where it's just like something confusing about this. It's because the volume on the rhythm's up here somewhere. I don't know, something. My motor skills are kind of, anyway.